Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review number 140 right here on NoDQ.com. It's all over social media, and I am Virtue, the moderator, this week being joined by a monster panel of 4 others, 5 total, and that includes Aaron Rift, Jeff Meacham, and who's that guy in that cool-looking shirt? Oh, wait a minute. That's Josh Mansfield. I think he won that from me because of Kofi Kingston. We'll have to talk about that in a little bit. And, of course, Jerry Slaughter. I like that name. What's up? Jerry, I'm going to come over to you. You wanted to be on a few episodes ago, and it didn't happen for whatever reason, but you are back. Yeah. What's up?
It's thrilling to be back. I love being on this show, and I love talking wrestling with you guys.
So he's back. All right. You're comfortable? You ready to go? Got your drink?
Absolutely. Got the night off work and just kind of hanging out, so it's great.
That's the best, right? The night off work. Mm-hmm. All right, so stay tuned. I'll come back to you in a little bit. Over to you, Josh. Show everybody that shirt.
Right here. Right here.
Man? You were on a panel video with me or something before in the past. I can't remember what it was for.
Fastlane 2019 predictions, because it was my first pay-per-view attending live.
There you go. Well, it's good to have you on here, and we're going to have a lot to talk about during this news-heavy week for NoDQ.com and pro wrestling. So stay tuned. We might be here for a couple minutes because now I'm going to introduce Jeff Meacham.
I promise. I'll be a good boy. Like Jeff always says, I'm happy to be here.
Well, somebody has to be happy to be here. Big G is on hiatus right now.
That's right.
So Big G, if you're watching, we'll see you soon.
From one Jeff to another, I'm happy to be here. There you go.
All right, Jeff. Like that shirt.
Thank you.
Is that just the regular NoDQ.com logo?
You bought off the old supplier before they started messing with us. Yeah.
And now I see there's already super chats here before we even really begin. So, Aaron, your introduction.
I'm ready for this. It's been an interesting couple of days in the wrestling world. And, of course, we had some breaking news today about Velveteen Dream. But we're going to save that for the end. That is the main event. You guys will have to watch the entire video to get our thoughts on Velveteen Dream getting the pink slip. No longer part of WWE. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, will you guys join this year's NXT War Games? Hey, we'd make a good 5-person team. I think we would do very well. Jeff could be the guy that just keeps everybody down with the big ground and pound moves. And none of us are really high flyers. I guess that would have to be me. I would have to jump off the top of the cage. Virtue would be the one to cheat. Jerry would just be happy to be there and would probably be eliminated first.
I'm tall. That's about it.
And Josh, we could just pick you up and throw you into the opposition and have you take them out. We'll do some tag team work. You know, Jeff's the guy that's gonna pick you up and throw you on all of our opponents, all the people that love AEW, because Virtue would make sure we're up against those pro AEW people. Maybe I would turn heel and join that pro AEW team.
I mean, let's be clear. The cage first because you're a double heel, but I'd be a great double A going in first anyway, so it's okay.
Very true.
I mean, I'd just take my fake leg off and start beating people with it.
I would take your fake leg off and start beating people with it. Let's get that straight.
Guaranteed win for us. We'd have this one won then. Yes. WWE action figure matches with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, if you read this, I'm not watching right now. I'm at a baseball game, but I'm pre-typed this. Have a good show. I wish I could watch, but I gotta go. Well, we thank you for that super chat.
That's so awesome.
That is awesome. I'm ready to go. Virtue, let's get
all right, we're going to kick this thing off. Aaron, make sure I get this right. Correct me if I'm wrong. In 2022, next year, AEW will move from TNT to TBS.
Yeah.
Originally, NXT moved from Wednesday night to Tuesday night because at the time it was thought that the USA Network could possibly make a deal with the NHL to get hockey. That didn't happen. It ended up going to Turner. And hockey is coming to TNT. Now, I did some research. TNT is all about the blockbuster movies these days. NBA, they're going to have some hockey. They're bumping to Dynamite to TBS. Now, I get it. Both networks are huge for Turner. They have about a 90 million reach. So, it's nothing. It's not a backtrack. But the fact is AEW is moving. Now, there's going to be another show, and I think it's going to also be on TBS. Is that Rampage show I was hearing about? Okay, and that's going to also be on TBS. So AEW fans, you're going to get more AEW. I'm not sure if that's in addition to the 2 YouTube shows they do, if they're going to consolidate something, but who knows. And there's going to be 4 annual events, like a Clash of the Champions or the Clash, whatever, on TNT still. Did I get that correct, Jeff Meacham?
I don't know about the
Aaron?
quarterlies on TNT. I thought they were on TV.
It sounded like there's going to be a potential 4 additional just non-regular shows like events. I don't know if I read that correctly. But anyway, that's a lot of news. I don't know how much they released yet, but what's everybody's thoughts? You saw my Twitter today, okay? To me, it's whatever. They were forced to move, right? But so it's not as great as all these people. Oh, we are expanding. Can we slow the roll on wrestling expanding? We already have too much of it. Okay, I don't need more wrestling to watch, but whatever. What's everybody's thoughts? Josh, with that great-looking shirt, because of that fact, you get to start it off.
Well, to be fair, I don't watch AEW. I tried. I have no interest in it. The thing that intrigues me the most that we haven't mentioned yet is, I believe, when AEW switches to TBS, it's moving to Fridays.
No, not true.
Oh, okay. I'd seen that, so I guess it's nothing. Okay, that's good to know.
It'll be on Wednesdays.
Okay, I had seen something that said it was moving to Fridays. Good to know that's not true. I could care less about what AEW does. In all honesty, I mean, I tried watching it. I wasn't a fan of it. I mean, they're putting it on another channel. Okay, good for them. They're trying to get a 3rd hour. Like, okay, you're trying to act like Raw this quick. I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, you made some people buzz, but I don't care about AEW.
Interesting. Later on, I'm gonna see how much you care about NXT, right? Because that was their rival for a long time there.
Yeah.
Jerry. Yes, Aaron.
Well, I just wanted to say Rampage is going to be on Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern after SmackDown. So if you want 3 hours
that's Friday
nights, you can watch both shows. Dynamite will continue to be.
Do we know how long Rampage is going to be yet?
1 hour. It's going to be the 3rd hour, basically, of primetime TV.
And Dynamite's not going from 2 to 3. It's going to stay at 2 on Wednesday night from 8 to 10?
Correct. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says Adam Page versus Brian Cage on Rampage. Well, there you go. Tweet that to Tony Khan, and I'm sure he will go with that. And Shanti sent in a $5 super chat. Says Shanti is here, and because of Jinder being back, Shanti. Thank you for that. Jeff is
all right. So we're talking
super chat.
You have another one?
No, I was just saying Jeff thought that was a stupid super chat.
Jerry, we're talking about Dynamite moving to TBS, which, in some of the wrestling bubble community, wow, you would think like this is the Peacock deal for WWE or something. But what is your take on this situation?
I think already that AEW is kind of on the verge of being just overexposed. They've got a huge roster and everything, but very seldomly do you get to see really any of them. You have the same people wrestling each time. But I think Rampage is supposed to be like kind of like that middle ground, because you have AEW Dark and then you have AEW Dark, the other one. They're like pretty much showcasing the enhancement talents and whatnot, and the people that are going to be coming up. But Rampage is going to be that one like in the middle. That's going to be like almost like a mid-card, like dark type show. So I'm indifferent to the whole idea of them moving to TBS. I mean, it's still owned by Ted Turner. Yeah. It would almost be like back in the day, Monday Nitro moving from TNT to TBS. Nobody really give a crap about it at all. Like, it's just the same company just being moved to a different channel just to make room for another sport. So
TBS is a channel that's getting viewed less and less as the years go by, as cable is for various reasons. But Jerry, my argument's always been for people that say, well, streaming's up now and people watch TV differently from tablets. Well, if a show's good, even on
you'll find your audience regardless of where the show is at.
There's 10 TV shows that are getting 5 to 10 million. Like, and granted, this is sitcoms, this is network TV, dramas that are getting 5 to 10 million people. This is what baffled and blew my mind. Cable's top shows are all freaking news. And it's like 2.5 to 3 million people per news show. You got to get these people to watch wrestling. Like, they're out there. Who cares about the news? Like, what do you? So I guess it really doesn't matter. Wrestling fans are still watching, right?
Basically, if AEW developed some sort of like streaming service, almost like WWE has, with like a complete whole channel and everything online, they wouldn't have any viewers on TBS or TNT, so it really wouldn't even matter.
That's a good point. All right, Jeff Meacham, you know what I think on this? I'm always harsh on Twitter, right? But it's great, valid points. The way I look at it, and I don't care if people that say you're looking at the past, TV is different now. What was WCW's flagship show back in the day, Jeff Meacham?
Prior to the days of Nitro, the flagship
show. It was Nitro, right? And Nitro was on what channel?
TNT.
And what was their secondary show?
That would be Thunder.
And what channel was that on?
That was on TBS.
Okay. Anyway, it's your turn. I just I like little stuff. I love the past. I'm all about the past. So.
Well, if you're talking about the past, prior to Nitro being launched, the flagship show was WCW Saturday Night, which was Worldwide Wrestling, and then it was World Championship. It moved all different kinds of names over, but it was always that Saturday at 6:05 slot, which is what the NWA is copying now on too. And for years, they were the highest rated wrestling show on the weekends for the longest time until WWE produced Sunday Night Heat. So I don't see an issue with this. Me, I'm a hockey fan. I don't care where the hockey is. As long as it's on TV somewhere, I don't give a shit. Because I don't mind watching it wherever it is. But I don't see this as a positive or a negative for AEW. It just kind of is what it is. Like you said, I don't think it's going to be the greatest thing to happen to the company because, as you said, TNT has more of the viewership. TBS's viewership has gone down exponentially the last, I'll say, decade or so because they've very few original shows, and much like the old days, they're running a lot of the old reruns of things now. So it's kind of like, okay, sure. I don't see this is going to be hurting the company, but I definitely don't see the AEW mark side of it where it's going to be, oh my God, it's the greatest thing since ever. No, it's not. It's just they're moving networks. You have to tune your dial a few channels less to get to TBS and TNT. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. There you go. All right. Well, I love that take. Very similar to mine because it's like, it is what it is. That's your saying, correct?
Yeah, it's really not as big a deal as it's being made out there. Of course, it's being blown up because the con hype machine is behind it. So of course, everything's the greatest thing ever. Especially when Shivani's doing announcing, everything's the greatest.
Well, it's not till next year.
Right, exactly.
So there's so much time.
And figure
basically, if it weren't moving from like Turner to Turner, like if it was moving from Turner to some other company completely without its like influence or anything at all, yeah, it'd be a big deal. But it's like under the same brand.
Yeah, it's and to Virtue's point, when Nitro launched, everything changed because the flagship of WCW became Nitro. It wasn't WCW Saturday Night. It was a secondary show for the longest time. And then when Thunder launched, WCW Saturday Night became an afterthought. It was canceled long before WCW got bought. Let's not forget that. Saturday Night completely became a way lesser than, and was just kind of brushed aside, much like a TV title was. So,
yeah, because like Saturday Night, I would end up seeing like DDP versus Roadblock or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, but by the time they canceled that, you wouldn't even get Dallas Page on Saturday Night. You wouldn't even get him. That's the thing. It was just, It was basically. I remember Jimmy Hart said in his induction speech. Eric Bischoff said, "Here, you take the book," and he booked like the lesser guys that were like right there on the cusp of Nitro.
Right.
And they would get booked, and then Bischoff would go, "Oh, okay, well he's doing good here. Move up to Nitro." And by the time it was the end of it, it was basically just.
Didn't we see a lot of Glacier on Saturday nights?
Well, Glacier debuted on Pro, if you can believe that, WCW Pro, which is so like, what the hell is WCW Pro? Exactly. Actually, Stefan, they're both on basic cable now, not just TBS. So anyway.
All right. Well, great insight there, Jeff. Aaron Rift. I kind of wish, Aaron. I just want some like Raw competition. I wish something could move to Monday night, maybe, just because So WWE would have to force to be spice it up. I don't know. Maybe that's what I really want. Maybe that's why I'm like not happy and satisfied.
Maybe eventually we'll see AEW go on Monday nights. Who knows? Never say never. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat, says, gonna be like WCW Thunder, in my opinion. Is he talking about Rampage? Apparently Rampage is going to be an equal show to Dynamite in terms of the quality. Like, they will do marquee matches. It's not going to be like AEW Darker Elevation. And I do agree
they'll probably get 2 matches in if they're only going to have like an hour, because the rest will probably be promos.
And Aaron, they said the same thing about Thunder. It'd be just as big a quality, and Thunder was equal for about 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, they have so many people on the roster, and who did we lose here? We lost
Josh.
We lost Josh.
He said there was a chance of it. He warned us ahead of time.
He's already had enough AEW talk. He's like, I'm done with this until we move to the next topic.
It has been 15 minutes.
I know, but we do have a $2 or $3 super chat from TGS. Says, picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees.
Stay on topic. Carry on.
Do you know what that's a reference to, Jeff?
I have no idea what the hell he's talking about, as usual with Tyler.
What about you, Jerry?
I didn't catch it.
Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul?
Nope, it's a Beatles song. Strawberry Fields Forever.
Oh yeah, I need the main course there. I'm a Dylan guy, not a Beatles guy.
And Roberto Bravo with a $5 super chat says, ironic how I worn my Dream over Velveteen Dream t-shirt today.
Stay on topic.
Jeff, what are you trying to do to me here? I'm trying to cash in on these super chats, and you're insulting everybody.
How many weeks do you tell these jerks to stay on topic? And I do, and I'm in trouble.
You're gonna make it so I get no super chats now because you're insulting everybody. Anyway,
at least I keep that to Twitter.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, anything else you'd like to add, or you still got super chats to read?
Well, what would you like me to say about this story? What would you like me to?
What you want to say about it? I'm not making you say what you don't want to. I say.
Well, you
on Twitter,
you tweeted
on
something
video,
about me being on AEW's payroll. So elaborate on that.
You're being very pro AEW, and all I ask, especially from guys like Dave Meltzer, right? Just tell the truth and report stuff. Don't make excuses. Be a journalist and report, even if there's a little doubt and criticism. A good journalist puts all the angles out there and lets the people decide and doesn't try to sway. That's what makes me angry. So maybe part of that culture is why I do and say what I say on Twitter. But it's not trolling, Aaron, because I do deep down truly believe what I say, as I prove on the debates. So say what you will on this, or pass it to the next topic.
What is your opinion, Aaron? There you go. What is your opinion on it?
My opinion is it's not a big deal. And I think Virtue, Robbie Vice, and Tito saying, oh, this is so terrible. We're business experts. This is a really bad sign that Warner Media doesn't care about.
You added a lot to what I never really truly said.
I know. I'm just putting you guys in a group. I'm generalizing things.
Okay.
There's a term called generalizing.
Okay.
And to me, it's not a big deal. As long as they can keep their viewership, I think they'll be fine. They got a new show. Warner Media is doing something called putting more of their chips in the AEW pot. They're committed to the brand. 18 to 49 demo is very solid. They were the #1 rated show on cable. Yes, cable is down, but #1 has value. It definitely means something. And as long as TNT is happy, as long as the fans are happy, let them be happy. Let them have.
Can you clarify that #1 rated show on cable? What, on Wednesday night during their 2-hour block? Because news draws bigger than Dynamite.
Yep.
So when you say #1, is it that 2-hour shift on Wednesday night against other similar shows? Because they're not beating everything.
Well, no, and they're obviously not beating Raw or SmackDown.
And I know it's not you. That's what's reported by the others. That's just that.
But
It's very weird. TV companies are very weird today.
why does it bother you so much when AEW adds a new show?
What makes
Because
you
it's more
think-
wrestling, and we have so
Don't
much
watch it
wrestling.
then.
I'd rather see NWA on Turner Network for an hour than another AEW show.
Nobody's putting a gun to your head and saying you have to watch
I'd rather
it.
see Ring of Honor.
Well, go watch it then.
I don't want to see more AEW though, you know. Tony
Well, don't
Khan,
watch.
he's a glorified super fan that's getting praised by a community, and I'm calling it out for what it is. Remember, I'm on record. If he stepped back out of the spotlight in that company, they could just say JR is in charge, and JR wouldn't have to do anything. As long as I didn't know Tony Khan was in charge, he took a step back, and you just believe they were trying to make it like a wrestling company, I probably would be, hey, cool, this is cool, like I was those first 3 months. But I'm not going to keep dwelling on that. That's what I think. Back to you. Maybe there's another super chat, or we can move on.
There's a few. Let me get to these real quick. Big Baller
I like
G.
this. This is fun. It's almost like a
Big Baller
debate.
G, he sends this when he's not on the panel here with everybody. He says, "My wedding is more over than AEW."
Aaron, for the record, Josh is waiting in the backstage area. He got his Wi-Fi.
Oh, I know. I know he's there. We'll bring him back here in a second. Sacred Monkey Bone with a $2 super chat says AEW needs TBS money for more ex-WWE talent.
Ooh.
No friggin' sense whatsoever because they're on the Turner Network now. That is a dumb super chat. Take your $2 back for real. That's stupid.
See, I just think that the Young Bucks, maybe Kenny Omega, some of them
Wait.
rub fans the wrong way. And there's a certain group of fans that just get so triggered by everything the Young Bucks do. And they're like, I can't stand AEW. I want to see them fail. But it's a good thing that AEW is getting more content, and TNT and TBS, Warner Media, they are committed to the brand. It's good for the business. It's good for us in the long run. And if you think there's too much content, don't watch.
I'll tell you the problem, Aaron. The reason that people have a problem with the Bucks now compared to a decade ago is because a decade ago, they shit all over Meltzer too. But the minute that Meltzer got on their jock, oh my God, Meltzer's the greatest thing of all time. And people hate Dave Meltzer so much that because the
I
Bucks...
think you're jealous.
Screw you.
There's no
Seriously.
meat
Jeff,
truck
there's
driver.
more people
Where's
that
the meat
call
truck
out Dave
driver?
Meltzer like you and I do. Aaron's the one because he siphons news from him. He's being the jolly, hey, I respect him, whatever. I don't give a shit what I say. And if I think that someone's condescending and not a fair journalist, I'm going to say it.
And he
I
is.
just want AEW fans and the journalists that cover AEW to be fair.
You're just
Hardcore
parroting
and
Vince
say
Russo.
things that even if it's critical, no covering up anymore.
No. Aaron has always been that way when it comes to siphoning news from Meltzer and other people. And the problem is,
That's okay.
Meltzer would have no credibility if it wasn't for Bret Hart giving him access after Montreal. Fact, end of story, end of sentence. And
Jeff,
yes,
you're just parroting Eric Bischoff.
okay. All right.
I mean, we got the Russo parrot and we got the Bischoff parrot. Does that make Jerry the Conrad parrot?
Parroting.
Well, let's see.
All right.
I believe Russo's views. I believe Jim Cornette's views. I'm not a fan of Eric Bischoff, but in this situation, so I'm parroting three people then, according to Aaron, because they're saying pretty much the same thing I'm saying.
Aaron, please do me a favor, Aaron. Since you are such a bastion of journalism when it comes to wrestling, show me the quote that said that Bret Hart Bischoff said that Bret Hart lended Meltzer's credibility. Please find that for me before we're off the air today, and I will gladly retract my statement.
All right. Thank you. As a moderator, Aaron, would you like to add anything else about this move to TBS for next year?
Well, Robert Bravo sent in a $5 super chat. Says Meacham needs a Snickers.
I think
We do have other topics to cover.
All right, and well, thankfully he got censored there. Oofman Entertainment sent in a $2 super chat. Says it was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Aaron. Oh, you're right. I was wrong on that one.
Got it wrong on a Beatles
Oh,
song.
wow.
Your parent shames you for that, Aaron. Oh,
Interesting.
Dr. NXT Scorpio with a $2 super chat says, I forgot Ring of Honor existed if Virtue mentioned it. LOL.
well, yeah. Well, so did I, honestly.
And we do have a few more super chats. All right, before we get to these other super chats, let's bring back Josh Mansfield, who's here.
And I would like to move to the next topic. We got to roll.
Jerry, you and I should have brought popcorn tonight, shouldn't we have?
I have it in the kitchen. I should have.
This is beautiful.
Well, Josh, we're
I'm
still on that
loving
first topic. I'm trying to move on. That's fine.
All right, we're all
Ready?
in different positions here. Let me get TJS's $5 super chat in here. He says, in all honesty, I want AEW to succeed, but I've stopped watching the weeklies. I'll buy the pay-per-views, but Dynamite hasn't had to be invested since Moxley left. Man, you guys are just all going after AEW here. It's not TNA. TNA was a terrible product most of the time.
His entire season started. Okay, so I haven't watched.
TNA drew almost 2 million people. AEW hasn't even sniffed that.
Yeah, it took them 5 years to get that number.
Got it. And okay, so he wants him to succeed, but he's not watching. He'll buy the pay-per-views, but he's not invested. Make up your mind, Tyler.
We got to move. We got to move this show on.
All right,
So-
real quick here. We got two more here. Psycho
Okay.
Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, Ring of Honor and Impact are still more memorable than Ricochet. Leave it to
Damn.
Psycho Jet Black to bring us all together with something we can all agree on, I think.
Oh, I like Ricochet, darn it.
And Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat says, they are just jealous of us being on AEW's payroll. Well, at least me.
If I'm on AEW, well, I'm clearly not getting the paychecks put into my account, so I need to call Tony.
Oh.
And Keith Johnson says they're all just WWE sheep.
Oh, that's bullshit. Yeah, carry on.
All right, we're caught up now. But thank you, Keith Johnson. And you might not be wrong with that one, but I'm going to leave it at that because, hey, we spent 27 minutes talking about AEW for a brand that's like
And our views are
inferior to
going to
WWE.
tank this week.
I don't know. People are saying this is the best review of all time. So you might
Okay.
be wrong on that.
Well, we don't
27
know what will
minutes
happen
too
at
long.
the end of the show with the super chat thing. So AEW could come back into play. But I'm moving on. And Josh, I'm going to come back to you since you were gone for a while and you haven't said much while you were gone. Bray Wyatt, where is he? The Fiend, right? Was he not in shape? Does he have personal problems? All these rumors we hear. We still have Alexa Bliss on TV and her doll. We have zombies. Could we just get Bray Wyatt back? And if they don't change him back to the swamp gimmick, can he just come out and do a shoot promo as himself, as his real name, kind of like Mick Foley, and just let him have a run of being a rotunda?
Yeah, I mean,
Like I want to see him on TV. I want to see him. I'm sick of whatever the issues are. I know some fans don't like him as the supernatural stuff and this and that. So take it away.
I mean, I've never been the biggest Bray Wyatt guy. That's just me. The Fiend, I was on the fence with. I think losing to Rollins at Hell in the Cell a couple years ago, that didn't help him. Getting crushed by Goldberg, that didn't help him. He has not built up his momentum back since then. He should have destroyed Orton at Mania. The Alexa Bliss thing, it makes no sense right now unless there's going to be some payoff somehow. It makes no sense for the Fiend to be back, really, unless there is some sort of official killing off of the Fiend for Bray Wyatt to go back to either the swamp gimmick, which I don't think they will. I think they kind of ended that with the whole Braun Strowman feud when they brought back the cult gimmick in their Universal title feud. I think Bray Wyatt just needs to be whoever Bray Wyatt's going to be. I think he might need to reinvent himself again. The Fiend was great in concept and his stock was pretty good with the fans,
It was.
with the internet fans. But those, at least his three biggest nails in the coffin, Rollins Hell in the Cell, Goldberg and Saudi, Orton at Mania.
It's WWE creative and management effed him over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, real quick here before we get more comments on this, a lot of people in the chat room are bringing up the so-called mental health issues. I'm pretty sure that was a bogus report. I mean, there might be something, but I'm pretty sure that was not
proved
accurate.
bogus. Yeah.
You know, if I heard any rumors, it never really made it to the surface. It was more of a not in shape issue like WWE likes.
Well,
and that kind
yeah. And Bray posted something from over a year ago that somehow went viral, and people were acting like that was current. So I think it's just a creative issue with Bray Wyatt, and they don't know what to do with the guy. But anyways, Virtue, who's up next on this?
Jerry, when I think, can't we just have Bray Wyatt? He can use that name because that's, we don't want Husky Harris. You can't, in WWE, you don't go to your real name, Wyndham Rotunda. So just come back as Bray Wyatt and kind of be like a semi-shoot. Like, say who you're really related to, what's on your mind, you've been held back. That's interesting. Like, what do you think here, man?
I was a huge fan of when Bray Wyatt first came into WWE from NXT, Florida Championship Wrestling, wherever he was at that moment, because I liked the whole cult gimmick that he was developing with everybody. And the Fiend gimmick was great when it first started, but like Josh brought up, like so many things went wrong with it. But I think it was more because of like he lost control of the character, and WWE Creative took over when they realized they can make money off the mask, when they can make money off the different T-shirts, when they can make money off of like Bray Wyatt's idea, but not exactly use any Bray Wyatt's ideas. Like the apex of this whole thing has been his match with John Cena. The Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena, even though it wasn't a match, was brilliant. And that was like equal parts Cena and Wyatt getting together and like knocking that out of the park. Now, if you actually had a situation where Bray Wyatt would come back every now and then and almost do it like a Firefly Funhouse type match, like take somebody else into it, like he could have worked wonders with Randy Orton instead of this like piece of shit match that we got this last time. Like if they actually like let it like Bray and Randy sit there and just discuss what they wanted to do, you could have had like almost another cinematic masterpiece, just like the Cena one. But I think they've written Bray off to television because they don't know what to do with them, and last thing they want to do, I guess, is listen to a guy like Roman Reigns and like Paul Heyman are really in touch with the writers about his direction of his character at this point, and it's working out beautifully. Like the whole tribal chief thing is awesome, and the fact that Heyman's getting to stand in the background, not really do much of the talking at all, and Roman's actually getting to be cool, that's fine. But the fact that like we have to pretty much sit and wait and wonder what they're going to let Bray do versus just letting him do it, it's frustrating.
Yeah, and I thought he had some really solid singles matches those first few years, like kind of when the Wyatt family was new, and he held his own. He ended up getting some injuries, and that's kind of changed the whole game with how they used him. I don't know, for the better part of the last 4 or 5 years.
That's something else they could have also done was like brought back the Firefly Funhouse, but then start bringing in different characters, kind of like a Mr. Rogers or Pee Wee's Playhouse type thing. Because they could have used Bo Dallas in there. They could have used all these talents that actually got released and like made them almost like into characters of themselves, or just like different characters for his Funhouse. So almost like a brand new cult, almost like a new Wyatt family.
Well, that takes some creative process, and do they really have that? All right, Jeff. It's been a few minutes since you talked. I know it's killing you over there. Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, son of Mike, nephew of Barry. Oh, man, this guy, they could make it so interesting if they really just wanted to.
Yeah, they could, and they won't, and they haven't. And the thing is, they had their chance when he first came up as the Eater of Worlds, the cult leader, and John Cena beat him at WrestleMania, and they wove that into the storyline later, where that sent him on the downward spiral. Mm-hmm. But they didn't capitalize on it once he beat him in the Funhouse. He went cool again, and then he won the Universal title. And that ruined him between the Rollins thing and the Goldberg thing, like Josh said. He has been booked consistently poorly, one story after another, the last almost 8 years now. It's ridiculous. He's been on the main roster almost 8 years, and they haven't been able to find something for him that stays consistent. I saw a comment earlier that said that Lexi's spin on the Fiend character ruined it. I agree and I disagree with that. I think Alexa coming into that definitely boosted him back up, but it was also the thing that completely shot him out of the sky, because once she turned on him, where did he go? Nowhere. and now she's the one in charge of all the mysterious, creepy stuff. And Bray's sitting there collecting a paycheck, doing jack shit. So again, not a bad thing to collect money doing nothing. Don't get me wrong, but for a creative guy like Bray Wyatt, he's going nuts. So I don't know what you do with him at this point. Like you guys said, the thing is they've booked him so inconsistently. Both times against Orton at WrestleMania, completely fell flat on their face. Like,
yep.
Isn't that amazing if you think about it, Jeff? Isn't that absolutely amazing?
Yeah, and Virtue, you've been very, very vocal the last about 15, 16, almost 18 months that Randy Orton's been the MVP on the main roster this entire pandemic. And the fact that they couldn't get a quality storyline resolution out of the thing with Fiend out of Randy Orton speaks volumes of WWE creative being a complete cluster right now.
It's a good point. Great point. Okay, Aaron, over to you and the super chats if there are any.
All right. You all made great points about Bray Wyatt. I think we're all pretty much in agreement that this has been a hugely missed opportunity as far as the potential goes for the Bray Wyatt character and the Fiend. This guy could have been like the new Undertaker, not like actually the new Undertaker, but an enigma.
The Phenom type thing, yeah.
An enigma at that level of the Undertaker. And, well, they blew it with just one bad booking decision after another. It goes back to 2004 and that feud with John Cena. They would push him and then they would do something really stupid with him, and the cycle just kept repeating. And now it's like, what do you do with the guy? I put up a poll on NoDQ. Should WWE get rid of the Fiend character? And actually, majority think they should keep it. But I'm in the area where I'm not sure what you do with the guy. Like, on one hand, I think it's run its course now. Like, what else can you do with it? And you've already damaged the character so badly. But on the other hand, if you get rid of it, he's really got nothing going on, and then you might as well just cut him loose. There were comments about like what he might say if he leaves WWE. That would be a hell of a shoot interview, Jeff.
To your point, if they get rid of the Fiend character, okay, so he was off TV selling, being literally burned alive or whatever, and Lexi carried the story. And then when she was in harm's way because of the guy that put him out, Randy Orton, he came back to save her. And she repays him by turning on him and the payoff match. The entire booking since TLC, when he got set on fire, has just made everybody scratch their head. So I actually agree with you. I'm in the minority. Don't keep the Fiend character. Do something else. Whether you revert back to the Eater of Worlds, because the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, would at least not tolerate that crap. He'd be like, no.
Yeah.
That ain't happening. So,
yeah, Jerry?
I say a regression is actually maybe a good thing at this point. I'm sorry, Jerry. Go ahead.
I think if anything, they should almost treat like the Great Muta. Like Kaiji Muta would just wrestle his normal matches, but if you need that extra edge, kind of like Finn Balor with the Demon, you'd break out with the Fiend. But like only in that worst case scenario. That way, when he did return, there'd be just this huge pop for him. People would love it, and the people would just eat it up, and they'd have that nostalgia factor. But otherwise, yeah, they should just scrap the character for right now and just focus on just getting Bray something to chew on.
Yeah, as a lot of people were saying in the chat room, the character is badass. We were all there at SummerSlam in 2019. Well, not Jeff.
That was special.
Yeah, we all felt it. Like when he came out there, it felt like they had a new major star on their hands. Like it was so cool to see the Fiend that night. What, Jeff?
I said I didn't feel to watch it at home. It was definitely a moment, and just again
it was one of those Undertaker moments where he actually felt it in the crowd. Like there's that whole mood that just kind of washed over us. It was great.
Absolutely. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Says, could Bray Wyatt pull off an American badass gimmick?
Well, okay, I get what he's trying to say, where he's trying to be more of Wyndham Rotunda out there on his own, doing his own, being his own self. Like you guys have all said, and like I've said, there is no way to go regress that far back. I mean, we kind of saw that when he was Husky Harris. That was who Wyndham is. I don't know if that would work in 2021 or whenever. It seems like he needs to regress, just not completely regress, if that makes sense.
And Mr.
In order to do that, you'd have to bring back his brother too and make them a tag team and just make them a complete throwback, kind of like the Revival.
Exactly.
They could have done that. They never did. Mr. Tito brings up a good point. One of the other problems with The Fiend was he never had like a really good match. It's just all smoke and mirrors. Yep. I said this when we did the WrestleMania 37 predictions. Like, they needed to have The Fiend and Orange just go out there and have a back and forth great WrestleMania match to show everybody, hey, The Fiend can actually wrestle and these guys can actually have a really good match in the ring without all the gimmicks and crap. And they chose to do the gimmicks and crap. And that's what we got. And let's see here.
The greatest moment was the Firefly Funhouse, completely out of the ring, behind the scenes, smoke and mirrors, like you said, Aaron. That was the best thing he ever did, was him and Cena.
We do have a few more super chats, and then we'll move to the next topic. King Alex sent in a $5 super chat, says, stopped watching wrestling but love NoDQ. Do you guys have an issue with how The Rock sold the stunner? And do you think Rock Austin was the biggest feud ever? We'll get to that here in just 1 second. Let me finish the rest of the on-topic super chats. Dr. NXT Scorpio sent in a $5 super chat, says, at this point in his career right now, which version of Bray is more credible, the Eater of Worlds Bray or the Mr. Rogers / Fiend Bray? That's a tough question.
They both held titles, but it's a coin flip.
Yeah,
I would say the original Bray, because the run with the Shield versus the Shield as the Wyatts, that was magic. So I'm going to give it that the edge.
But think about it, that Virtue. There's no more Rowan. Luke Harper's passed away. And the Shield is broken up too. Roman's way beyond that ever again.
But I mean, in hindsight, that was a great time. That was a great feud.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, real quick, never had an issue with how The Rock sold the stunner. I always thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was, as far as box office goes, maybe the biggest feud of all time. I mean, you could say Austin McMahon, but Rock and Austin headlined all those WrestleMania. So yeah, I think it's like, as far as just pure box office, like matches after matches, I think you got to go with Rock versus Austin as the biggest box office feud of all time. Was it the actual biggest feud of all time? I mean, I think that's certainly debatable, Jeff.
I think that originally Rock Austin was an extension of Austin McMahon. If you remember 15, it was very much a champion against the Rebel. But by 17, they were on their own thing, except the end where they had the heel turn that didn't really work out. But 19 I still say was their best match. And I hate that we weren't there. We should have gone, damn it. And we didn't.
Yeah.
That was their best match. And neither one of them were, Rock kind of with Vince at that point, but whatever. But their feud was more than box office. They've both said, we've all seen it. It was magic. When those two touched, there was nobody that could be on a better on WrestleMania stage from my point of view than those two guys.
Anybody else have a thought on that one? And by the way, who's got the cat in the house? Because I was hearing cat meowing.
Definitely not me.
All right, we'll move on.
Well,
this next topic will take about 8 or 9 seconds.
All right, real quick here, though. Jerry, as a rule here on the NoDQ review, if a cat meows, you got to get that cat on camera.
Oh.
Aaron loves cats.
So
I'll try again before the end of the show.
Okay.
By the way, Aaron, my lady friend has a cat.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go. Now you have to be a cat person by default.
I just thought you'd like to know that. Live in front of the world. Okay.
Box office wise, I'm thinking Rock versus Austin, but like storyline wise and everything, for me, it's always going to be Triple H and Shawn Michaels. So
there you go.
It's all for box office. That's hard to go against Rock Austin. So, all right, we'll move on. Aaron, when Kofi Mania was running rampant and running wild, all of a sudden he lost to Brock Lesnar in what? How many seconds was that match?
9 seconds.
9 seconds.
And people are trying to say that was a fluke. Oh, Kofi just got too excited and jumped into him. No,
Lesnar. Okay, Lashley's been built up as a beast. The WWE champion still has it. And now Kofi comes out and beats him on Raw. Kofi Mania, is it coming back? Mid-card Kofi Mania. Josh Mansfield, you're wearing that shirt because of this, but from the past. So I'm going to come over to you. Kofi beats Lashley. Why couldn't he be more competitive versus Lesnar that year then? To me, this is filler. It's not going to be Kofi Mania again. They're just trying to figure out who they want to face Lashley. You are a big Kofi fan. That's how you have that shirt. So what do you think, Josh?
Yes, I am a big Kofi fan because I won this shirt and one of the other Virtue shirts by betting that Kingston versus Bryan was going to be the WWE title match for Mania 35, and I won back in 2019. The difference is between Lesnar and Lashley. Lashley is not Lesnar. Lashley has not gotten to that level
And he
of
never
Lesnar.
will.
When he faces Lesnar, okay, maybe. Eventually, if that happens. But we cannot say that Lashley is Lesnar. We cannot say that, oh, just because Kofi lost to Lesnar in 9 seconds doesn't mean that that's automatically going to happen
Lesnar
against
never lost to
Lashley.
Kofi. That's why Lesnar's Lesnar.
That's fair, yeah. But and we haven't had a Lashley Lesnar match, so to compare the two and to compare them versus Kofi, it's not a good comparison, really. Now, I'll be honest, when Kofi came out, I'll admit, Monday was a bad day. I was just trying to turn off my brain and enjoy the show. I wanted Adam Cole or Keith Lee to come out to face Lashley. Didn't happen. Yes, I'm a Kofi guy. I thought it was great. I don't think Kofi's going to beat Lashley because storyline-wise, beating Orton earlier in the night and then having another match against Lashley, storyline didn't make sense. Kofi can go. Kofi has proved himself in many gauntlet matches before. Your favorite, Aaron. So Kofi has beaten a lot of top stars. So to say Kofi is just this mid-card tag team guy, He's proved
He
himself.
absolutely
He's won
is.
multiple singles titles. He can draw. Well, I'm not going to say draw. He can hang with the main event stars in a match. I think versus Lashley after beating Randy Orton of all people early in the night was believable? No. Vince, you gotta take the tinfoil hat off, buddy. I think Vince can get away with some of the stuff because there's no fans in the arena. If there was fans in the arena, honestly, I think a lot of what Vince would probably have planned would probably go down the crapper pretty quickly. I think Kofi's there because there's no one for Lashley to face right now. Orton's in the tag division with Riddle, and I'm loving RK Bro. Yes, WWE, take my money for that. But they like the report a few days ago came out and said Raw needs more stars. And I don't think putting Kofi in the main event slot, again, as much as I love him, against Lashley right now is the right call. But that's just me.
Well, I agree with you there. Now, Daniel Bryan did a hell of a thing putting Kofi over at that WrestleMania.
And he
that was
wanted
one
to
of
do
the best heel runs I've seen in a long time that Daniel Bryan had. He never recouped from that. Kofi Mania, to me, after that fact, was a fart in church because it was just like a New Day act that whole summer until he lost to Lesnar. And that's my problem with Kofi. Not his fault. Not his fault.
Right.
It's the way they portray him. And I just could never buy into that. And for the same people that said Jinder never should have had that run, I get it. So, Jerry Slaughter, thoughts on could we have Kofi Mania round 2?
Oh God, no. Kofi's just like pretty much one of the biggest yes men in WWE. They'll do whatever he'll do whatever they tell him to do because he loves being in the company. He loves it, like he loves wrestling and he loves being on television and everything. But I think if anything, they just need somebody to get to pin Lashley that night. And it had to be somebody that was credible, that had been a champion before. So people saw Kofi now and automatically thought he was going to get squashed like he did in the Brock Lesnar match. Like they thought it was going to be a complete repeat of that. You know, Brock Lesnar's BL, Bobby Lashley's BL. It has to happen. That's the usual way of thinking. But with that, no, I think they're going to focus more with Kofi and Xavier Woods against RK Bro. But at that point, they just needed Kofi Kingston to go out there, give McIntyre a reason to come out there to make Lashley look like a chump, and that just set up more for that Hell in a Cell match between Lashley and McIntyre. So there's
Well,
not going to be a repeat of Kofi Mania.
Yeah,
There'll never
no,
be
I
another
agree.
Kofi Mania.
I was with you as soon as you said, like, you didn't even hesitate when I asked you at the beginning of that. Josh, I do like to go back to one of your points. There's just no stars for the title contenders. And that's why Kofi's thrown in this mix, whether it's going to be
I was about to say,
or
he's
not.
one of the very few faces on that brand right now.
Yeah, it's just the way WWE just doesn't build stars. Correct, Jeff Meacham?
That's what they're supposed to be doing, and we had to have that whole build a wrestler factor down there in Orlando at the CWC, right? That's what everybody keeps saying. But Kofi's run in 2019 was very much like Bryan's 2014. It was organic. The fans made that happen after the entire the whole thing with Ali and Fastlane and the Chamber and everything kind of went from there. So I see where Kofi got, and to be fair, Kofi's always been a favorite of mine. Kofi's always been a favorite of this household. For some reason, Dylan turned to Baron Corbin for a while, and we all forgave him for that little moment of derp. But Kofi getting over now against Lashley, I've heard the argument that it hurts Lesnar, that it hurts Lashley, and that it makes him look weaker because Lesnar just destroyed Kofi in front of Aaron and I and all the other people at Staples Center that night 2 years ago. But I agree with you, Virtue, that it's pretty much just, okay, we don't know what we're going to do with Lashley right now, so put Kofi in there and just say the hell with it. I don't think it hurts him long term because we all know, or at least we all think we know, because clearly we don't know what we think we know. We're there. If Lesnar comes back, that's the money match. Lesnar Lashley, that's the match. So
I just didn't want to know that Lesnar crushed Kofi, but Lashley lost to him when we do get Lesnar Lashley. I mean, I know that WWE they'll do so many contrived things, people will forget about that. But
and the thing is, I honestly don't. It didn't even cross my mind until I saw your tweets about it. Like, it didn't even, okay, so Kofi got, it wasn't a clean win for one thing. It was a lot of shenanigans involved. When Lesnar beat Kofi, the bell rang, Kofi jumped, F5, we were done with the night, or so we thought until Velasquez came out there.
I would have loved Lashley to have done that same thing.
Done. And the thing is, Kofi learned from his mistake in storyline. That's how you spin that. That's how you make that. Okay, well, Kofi learned from Lesnar, so it didn't happen with Lashley. That's how WWE will likely spin this.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as a long-term issue if they do go with Lesnar Lashley down the line here, if we get crowds back, if SummerSlam is indeed in Vegas like they're talking about in front at the Allegiant Stadium. So I don't see it as a problem. I do agree with the chat that just came up there. Drew has been in the title picture since last year's Royal Rumble. So that's going on a year and a half.
Yep.
It's definitely time for him not to go away completely from the title, but definitely take a break.
Let's have a superstar shakeup. All right, Aaron, over to you in the super chats.
All right, you got to put me in the middle sometime so I can catch up on these super chats because we get so far.
I like you catching up. It's fun watching you scroll.
Okay, well, it's not fun for me. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, it should be Lashley versus Big E for the WWE Championship. Or, as I mentioned on Monday, even if it was Xavier Woods, at least that would have been something different other than Kofi. Like, I don't think it's going to hurt Lashley because Kofi won by a fluke and people will more or less forget about it. I think the two issues I have, number one, is that it's probably just a way to build up McIntyre versus Lashley again. And then, of course, the issue with you were doing so well with Bobby Lashley, and it just wasn't necessary to have Kofi beat him like this, even if it was a fluke. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat, says, WWE ruined the mystic of Lesnar versus Lashley now. If Lesnar comes back, we will all say Lashley can't beat Kofi now. How can he beat Lesnar? They ruined it. See, I don't think it's that bad, but I still thought it was a stupid booking decision that was not well thought out. And clearly it wasn't because that show was put together literally the day of the show. They were changing
like
it up.
5:30 that afternoon.
Yeah.
That's bad.
As Raws typically are.
Can I ask a really stupid but obvious question? Who said it was put together at 5:30 in the afternoon? Who said that?
I heard it on like regular some other programs. So
I believe it was PW Insider.
Okay, there you go.
PW imbeciles.
Just checking.
Jeff, you just don't believe anybody.
No, I don't.
You don't believe
No, you're right.
any
No.
outlet. You think they're all making stuff up. Everybody's lying.
Did I not
Everybody's out to get you.
Excuse me. Did I ask you this afternoon about the SI report and where it came from? And when
Yeah, you
said
don't trust them either.
quiet. Didn't I?
Nothing wrong with wanting to know the source of things. That's no issue.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says Vince likes Kofi Kingston because New Day got over. Well, yeah. I mean, if anybody makes Vince money, he's gonna like them. That's the nature of the beast.
Can I throw on one point? Just like it's completely not really separate, but a little bit to what we're talking about.
Go
If
ahead.
Lesnar were to return, if the champions were to stay the same by the time the Royal Rumble came around, if Lesnar came back and won the Rumble, him getting to choose between Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley to who do you face, that'd just be great television in general.
That'd be interesting. I will give you that. And we do
Because
have
you have the physicality aspect of Lesnar versus Lashley, but you have the huge storyline that you'd have with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman.
The Game is on 100 sent in a $5 super chat. Says Kofi Kingston needed help to beat Lashley because of Drew. We all know Lashley will beat Kofi any time of the week, twice on Sunday. Kofi is incredible in my opinion. Oh, yeah, and I also forgot Kofi beat Randy Orton, too. So he beat two guys in one night. Kofi Mania 2, baby. Anyways, I think we've spent
By
way too
trombone
much.
distraction.
Yeah.
Aaron, I'm just going to revert right to the next topic, and I'm going to start with you this time.
Is it the main event?
No, it's the NXT releases. I just don't care. Other than Jake Clemens, who's up from around these parts, he was one of the referees released from NXT. I was kind of hoping he'd get a run there and maybe make some TV and stuff. I just don't care. And I know you have the list of people.
Hold that, Jerry.
So there's the cat.
There we go. We have
The cat doing the run-in during the NXT segment.
You're so cute.
This is Ash.
And that'll
He's
actually
so
help us
cute.
because NXT usually has the lowest ratings on anything Aaron does. So that is timely that your cat popped in. But Aaron, I'm going to come right back to you here for the NXT releases. Say what you will and then pass it around. I just don't care. Other than you'll be okay, Jake Clemens.
None of them were really surprises. I think maybe Alexander Wolf a little bit, although they wrote him off on NXT. Other than that, it was just time to cut some people, and they did cut some main roster people. Last year, they cut NXT people as well. I was expecting a few NXT people to be cut. Of course, I guess that's not even a surprise, the Velveteen Dream thing, but we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. It sucks. I hope those guys and gals get other opportunities, and maybe we'll have a new Ty Conti. She got released, and she ended up becoming a pretty big deal in AEW. I'm sure Virtue will say by AEW standards, which isn't much, but she's done
actually
well for
okay
herself.
by me because she's quite attractive. So call me a pig. But she's one of the AEW women I don't mind watching on my television set.
Well, I actually think she's a pretty solid wrestler, and I'm glad that she's.
Yeah, her timing's a little slow. She's okay.
I mean, she's definitely getting better. I give her that. So Jeff, what do you think?
I'm with Virtue. None of these are really a surprise, and they're really the names didn't register to me like the runs that releases back in April. Like, oh my god, what are they gonna do now? They'll all bounce back. Either the Indies are opening back up again, so we're gonna see them do that. We'll probably see a lot of them go to AEW or Impact or the NWA or whatever. I honestly thought Drake wore out his welcome a long time ago, and I'm surprised it lasted this long. Very much like Bo Dallas. How did he not get cut sooner? Based on the lack of use or in Drake's case, the overabundance of too many check marks in the wrong direction. So it was a matter of time for him. Our main event guy, again, way too long before they cut that cancer off the skin. Way too long.
No, and speaking of him, Keith Johnson sent in a $2 super chat. Says maybe Velveteen Dream can go to AEW and become Purple Haze.
Maybe AEW can take the same chance him as do as Tessa Blanchard.
That'll be his jail sentence. Going to AEW will be his jail sentence. But anyway, we're not there yet. Aaron, you got a super chat to read?
Yeah, that was the one.
Okay. Over to you, Josh, talking about the NXT releases. And if you don't care, we'll pass it to Jerry. What's up?
I mean, NXT is my favorite of all the wrestling shows right now. I'm a big NXT guy. Takeover was freaking fantastic. Love NXT. Love what they're doing. Love what Triple H and Shawn Michaels are doing with that. Perfect combination of storytelling and wrestling. But these releases, I didn't know any of them really, except Alexander Wolf and the main event referee guy that should have been gone a lot sooner, I think, based off of what I'm hearing. So
That works
glad
or
that they got
whatever
rid
his name is. That I know what you're talking about.
yeah, I forget what his name is, but
Jake
glad
Work.
he's gone. Yeah. I didn't know who any of the other guys really were, I'll be honest. It wasn't like last year when some more bigger names got released. These were people who haven't really been used except Alexander Wolf and one Performance Center guy that I think that was probably a shock considering his height and his build. You know, how built up he is, that he got released. But other than that, I don't know many of these people, so it sucks for them. But I mean, it is what it is. And I
Fair
love
enough.
NXT, but
All right. Go ahead, do the super chat, and then we'll pass it to Jerry.
You read it,
Hold on,
Virtue.
can I read the super chat for this one?
Yeah,
Yes,
you read
and
it.
it's your turn, so perfect.
Jerry's cat is more over than Scrub Rich Swan.
I agree.
There you go, Jerry.
I will not argue that point.
Jerry,
You
look
did
at that,
answer, you
popping for
did.
that super chat. Jerry, any thoughts on these NXT releases before we switch to our main event?
Okay, weirdly enough, I'm actually going to channel my old knowledge from the old show I was on. So, Jessamine Duke, she was one of the ones that got released. Like, she was hanging with Marina Shafir and Shayna Baszler for the longest time there. And there was going to be this whole thing where they were going to team up eventually with Ronda Rousey as the, four horsewomen of MMA kind of thing. But Jessamine never really got over. Like, Marina Shafir barely did either, but that's only because she's, like, married to Roderick Strong. So Jessamine had like the ring presence and everything, but she just didn't have like that spark to her that was needed to be there anymore. So her getting released wasn't a shock to me. Alexander Wolf, weirdly enough, we had made it like back when he got moved to NXT UK from Raw. WWE had said he had been released from his Raw contract. They didn't say WWE contract; they said Raw contract. And he got moved over NXT UK as part of Imperium. But even then, when they had their match with Undisputed Era, he got taken out very, very quickly, granted accidentally. And like he's just never really played much of a factor in the group. So him being released wasn't a shock either. Drake Wirtz, solid referee, but not really,
A solid human
politically
being.
correct, as you could really say. And watching him go from this hardcore wrestler as Drake Younger back in CZW and Insanity Pro Wrestling, watch him fight Moxley and all these other guys and just having these really bloody glass thumbtacks, weed whackers, whatever. So watching him become a wrestler was kind of a weird transition. But I think what ended up happening there is he stopped doing like the drugs and alcohol and whatnot, and it kind of clouded his brain even more. So... But yeah, like the rest of and Vanessa Bourne, I'm going to say it. Stefan was a huge fan of hers, but she never really did anything after her tag team with Aaliyah. Yep. And like she got bumped up to the main roster, but got held over because of COVID. Like there was like no other people coming in because like the COVID outbreak, and that completely halted any momentum she had. So all of the releases that happened were pretty much justified, including the one we're going to talk about in the main event.
All right. What's the best thing in NXT right now? Just quick pick. I'm enjoying the Karrion Kross versus Balor and all the promo and the hype and stuff they're doing.
Same.
Anybody else? Pretty much in agreement.
Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes is irritating as hell.
Only because DiBiase.
Yeah. But I mean, I want to give some shout outs to some NXT stuff. There's some stuff to catch.
Even before then, I like his promos. I like the in-ring action we got from him. So I'm happy with that. That I'm liking the whole like Swerve's faction that he's got right now.
So speaking of NXT, the big release we just found out earlier today, Velveteen Dream. Now we know of all the scandal type controversial stuff From what we know, Aaron Rift, he has never been arrested or officially in trouble for any of this. It's just all whatever, I'll give my take towards the end. I'm curious to see what everybody says here. Jeff, I kind of heard what you said earlier, so go ahead and start this one off.
Really, how it didn't happen sooner. And again, we don't know the whole story. We're sitting out here on peripheral internet wrestling community land. We don't know everything. We know what we're allowed to know, right? But if everything we've read, heard, whatever is true, how he survived this long is beyond me. So I will say this. We went to an NXT house show out in Bakersfield. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I was in Bakersfield on purpose. I didn't choose that. But we saw a kid come out dressed in a lot of purple gear with some purple smoke named Patrick Clark. And I turned to my dad. I said, that guy's a superstar. He was on Tough Enough. He's going to go places. And he did for a little bit. But whatever stuff he's got going on, it caught up with him apparently, and hopefully, the artist guy, Rob, I can never say his last name properly. Rob, whatever his last name is, said it best. Hopefully, he can take this time and get whatever's going on in his head right, and maybe come out of it a better person. If that is the issue. Is Aaron frozen, or is he just like sitting there looking at me like an idiot?
Aaron,
I think he's frozen.
We lost Aaron. All right, we're flying free. All right, here we go.
Are we still live? If we lose Aaron, are we still live?
Oh, that's true.
How does that
We're
work?
still live.
Yes, we're still live.
Okay, so Jeff, I like that input. Since we got to wait for the boss man to come back to do these super chats. Well, you know what? I'll read the Tyler Joseph Smith one. I just see here right here. $4.99 from TJS. The dream is over. What can I say? Yesterday he was a star, but now he's gone. And so, dear friends, you just have to carry on. The dream is over. I might have read that too fast. So,
yeah.
Jerry, I'll pass it over to you.
He had like so much potential. He really did. But it's one of these things where like so much bad behavior and everything, even if it's like, maybe it's not true. There's enough hearsay there. Plus also he became kind of injury prone towards the end there as well. So A, he wasn't wrestling, and B, he had all these like controversies against him. The fact that he didn't get a cut sooner showed that they still had a little bit of faith in him, or wanted to see like if he'd do some sort of turnaround. But that just wasn't going to be the case. Maybe somewhere down the line, he'll go to some independent companies and whatnot, like do some gigs there, and kind of like what Drew McIntyre did after like he got let go. Because he basically grew up during his whole indie run and everything, became more mature, grabbed some championship belts along the way, and it just all worked out for him. So hopefully something will happen with Patrick Clark to the point where he actually comes back more mature and actually able to still do the Velveteen Dream gimmick, because I love the whole Prince gimmick. The whole Prince thing worked for me. I'm a child of the 80s, so it works. So
yep.
And like his like promos that he cut were interesting. His in-ring style, it was hit and miss. It really was. But when he actually nailed the Dream Valley Driver, that was a huge pop every time. So best of luck to him. Hopefully he'll actually land on his feet. But with all the different stuff swirling around him and them not really saying, yes, he did this stuff, and no, he didn't do this stuff, that's only going to hurt him in the long run.
All right, Aaron. Thank you, Jerry. I'm going to pass it back to you. I did read TJS's super chat. Did you read the Shante Kurtz one for $5?
No, but I was going to save that for the end. Okay, so let me look at TJS's.
But I'm passing it over to you is what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, the dream is over, unfortunately, and I'm not sure what you guys said because I got booted there momentarily. I think that's the first time I've ever been booted off of the NoDQ review.
I did read that $5
Best episode ever.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell happened there. I'll have to look back at the recap of this and see what the deal was. Now, with Dream, it's just a shame. That's all I'm going to say. He could have been a major star in WWE. Who would have predicted 2 years ago, 2019, if somebody told you Velveteen Dream was going to be released before even making it to Raw or SmackDown? I would have said that person was crazy. No way. This guy is potentially the future. Although I remember saying back then, like, the only way that something's not going to work out is if either he gets injured or he does something that causes his downfall, something personal in his life causes him to lose his spot in WWE. And yeah, innocent until proven guilty. But the problem is that his reputation is shot right now. I don't know if he'll ever get it back. Maybe 5 years from now, he'll get another opportunity once cancel culture is done, or if people just flat out forget about it. I mean, who knows, man? I don't know if we'll see him again. Maybe he'll keep.
He may well be the Robert Downey Jr. of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, but Robert's story ended up turning out great. Aaron, I'll say this. The fact that Tessa Blanchard still hasn't been hired by a major company, despite having what really was hearsay against her, leads me to believe that Dream is really – Patrick Clark isn't real big. Really far back in the doghouse at this point.
Because, like I said a couple of months ago, I don't think AEW is going to touch him. I don't think Tony Khan is going to hire him, and he's going to have to grind. Velveteen Dream's going to have to grind on the indies. I'm sure somebody will hire him. He'll get work if he wants it, but he's going to have to grind if he ever wants to make it in a mainstream wrestling promotion.
Well, it's funny you say that because, one of the many people that was wrapped up in that whole the whole speak out movement last year was Joey, and Joey got booked this year, and man, they backlashed on that promotion so bad that they canceled the show.
Yeah.
So if Joey Ryan, who is the king of the indies, for lack of a better term, can't get work, I don't see Patrick Clark doing very much better, at least not right away.
Right. And also, we don't know if Velveteen Dream without the WWE machine is really a big deal. And this will be a test for him. Like, I don't know if Impact will pick him up or not, as TJS questions, but wherever he goes, we'll see if he really does have something special, or if it was more WWE's presentation of him with the theme music and the entrance, the lighting and everything. Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a test. Does he really have that talent? If he does, and he works hard and he grinds 5 years from now, the guy's what, 24 years old?
Yeah, he's so young, and I enjoyed the kid I saw on Tough Enough. So there is potential there. It's just a matter of what they can do when they take away the purple smoke and all the bamboos and woozles, as it will. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, and let me read off a couple of super chats here. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, Jeff, why do you hate Bakersfield? Is it the heat? It's just the dump. If you've been to Bakersfield, you know why it sucks.
Dude, Bakersfield is what Fresno casts aside when they don't want it no more, for real. It's a horrible town. It's very hot. It's very disgusting up there.
It's very hot. It's pretty much desert.
One little that has like the arena where NXT was. There used to be this big dome place that we ran indie shows there. Once you get out of that little bitty hub, there's not shit but desert for miles. Terrible.
Bakersfield, California, right?
Yes, hate it so much. Oh my God.
Isn't there like some country songs about Bakersfield, California?
Oh, there's quite a few. Merle Haggard especially. Yes, very much so.
Yeah,
yes.
Bakersfield is like kind of like the southeast of California, the southeast United States.
Yeah, it's funny. We used to share an area code with Bakersfield, and like we would be like, that's 805. We're 805 proper. We're better. And now we're 61, of course. So there you go. Hey, Profound Image, that's your problem, not mine, brother.
The band Korn came from there, so.
I'm sorry to diss on Bakersfield to anybody that lives there. Profound Image.
Because you know what? The people I've met up there are wonderful people. It's just the town's just garbage. It's terrible.
The one thing I like about Bakersfield is and this is a tie into wrestling since it was a non-wrestling question, that is where the famous Booker T. Steve Austin supermarket fight took place. And I actually went there for that. I went to that supermarket just to check it out. That was cool. But I was considering moving to Bakersfield in 2016 just because the cost of living is so low there. But I was like, no, if I'm going to move and leave Los Angeles, it's go.
Where were you
big or
going to
go
live?
home.
Above a saloon?
I mean, I ended up moving to Portland, and that was
And that was
100%
good.
the right decision.
Out of the damn state. Oh God! If I could be California right now, I would.
If I
Who else
moved to
didn't go yet for
Bakersfield,
Dream here, Aaron? It's Josh's turn, right?
Yeah.
And
sorry,
now,
Jeff.
how you liking that lake effect snow up in the state up north, Aaron?
Oh, geez, here we go.
well, Detroit doesn't really have the lake effect snow like Western Michigan.
No, they don't.
You still live in the state up north. That's bad enough.
Yeah, I mean it's been an adjustment. I will say that. Now, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He's the self-proclaimed. Well, I think somebody else proclaimed him to be the best super chatter. Says if Jerry Lawler can be in WWE, so can Velveteen Dream. Well, I think everybody was over 18 as far as Jerry Lawler's.
Jerry
keeping
Lawler
his
was
life wet.
a complete garbage from the start. Back what was it, 93, whatever it was, when they had taken him out of the Survivor Series. They proved that accuser was full of garbage. So anyway.
He failed upwards.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, remember what AJ Lee said? Like when he was trying to make comments about her, she's like, "I know you like him young, Jerry."
Well, yeah.
Oof.
All right. You got some more super chats here, and get them out of the way so Josh can go.
Okay, well, we actually do have a few non all these.
You want me to come back
ones
then?
Yeah.
Okay, so Josh, your take on the release of Dream.
Okay. Well, I want to address two comments in the chat first. One was by Life of Beto earlier, which I gotta agree with. Velveteen screwed Velveteen. Flat out. He screwed himself. Flat out. I'm not sorry to see him go whatsoever. Another one from Insamasu We Trust. Velveteen is Iron Man. If Velveteen Dream is Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, then one-legged me is the Hulk. So,
What I meant by the Robert Downey Jr. concept is the fact that Robert Downey Jr. was all bent out on drugs and alcohol and everything. Then he made that huge comeback as Iron Man. So there's always that possibility that he could mature in these independent circuits.
Let's make another
Dream ain't coming
comparison.
back from this. That's just a flat-out
Well,
not happening.
here's the thing, though, to use Jeff's line. Mike Tyson, he was convicted of rape. And he made a comeback, and people still love him and admire him.
People still love him.
And he's in the WWE Hall of Fame, and he's been on AEW.
Right. So
I will say, taking the two separate things, allegation-wise, yeah, Dream should have been gone last year.
Yeah.
There was too much against him, and because it was how it was, yeah, that should have been an absolute ring work-wise and everything. I was never the biggest Velveteen Dream fan. I think once he lost that NXT backlot brawl to Adam Cole for the NXT title, that's when he peaked, and he just dropped and dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't. There was no room left for him to try and go up, to be relevant enough to be considered
he
a
came
top
back and feuded with
guy
Kushida,
again.
and then he disappeared.
He
came back and feuded with Kushida, and then he was just off the television after that.
Yeah. I'm not sad to see Dream go. Honestly, I think it was way too late. But at least finally something is happening, and he's gone. And many people, yes, will bring up Matt Riddle. People saying, "Oh, Matt Riddle's there," but Riddle has defended himself with his quote-unquote evidence. His wife has come out in defense of him. So Riddle and Dream are both different cases. Again, if Riddle is guilty of things he was accused of, then yes, Riddle needs to go. Riddle's countersued the person who was accusing him, I believe. I don't know if that's still going on, but with Dream, it was an automatic. He should have gone.
Well, he denied it.
Pretty much with the Dream, the silence for the Dream was the bad part about the whole thing.
Dream never admitted to any wrongdoing. He
Let's call a spade a spade.
The accusation.
He stuck around. When these allegations came out, he was with the company for quite some time afterwards. There is one reason why he is gone. The guy can't stay healthy. They have no value in him right now, so they release him. And if that means, and they've done this before, controversy aside, unless you're convicted, you're on trial, whatever, it's still all allegations. You can have all the proof in the world. Things can always be doctored up. He's out. He's hurt. They've done this with people before. They've released people. They've come back into the company, and they've been big stars. This guy still has life in the wrestling business, but it might take some time. Like Aaron said, Aaron threw a 5-year period out there. I maybe can see him coming back sooner. But the reason why I say that is, you can say he had the WWE smoke and mirrors behind him when he was presented, but I saw it. He did have that it factor. He's probably the one guy since Macho Man Randy Savage that I could see that could just use his body and just kind of make the crowd follow him as soon as he comes through that entrance. So love him or hate him, he did something right, but the guy got hurt a lot. That's why I believe he's not with the company right now. If it was all about these allegations, he would have been gone in a week or a month back then. So that's my take on it. I think we will see him in the wrestling business again. Maybe he'll apologize. Maybe everything will just go away. I don't know. And if anything came to light and he was guilty of these things, I do not condemn that or condone that. So he could be condemned forever if that was the case, right? I say that about anybody. If you are proven to be that type of a person, you're done. But I always give somebody a second chance, or at least a chance to prove themselves. Dream, as we talk right now, I'm going to give him that chance. We'll see what happens.
The last thing I would say on this is, if there's an accusation, there should be investigation. If the investigation says you are guilty, you're gone. If it's innocent, if the investigation says innocent, then you're good. I guess your reputation will probably still be in the toilet. But
yeah,
that was the thing. Triple H kept on saying we haven't found anything, which that's a very loaded statement.
Right.
Yeah.
He would have been
I don't know
gone
how much
back then. There's some other reason why he was.
Statement by Triple H, though.
I seem to think that Virtue is onto something here, because WWE's official policy is that if you are arrested for a crime, you're suspended. And then if you're convicted, then you're terminated.
Yep.
And Dream was not arrested. So makes me think there are other factors. And yeah, it's, quote, budget cuts. But I think WWE just doesn't want to invest in him right now. Maybe Triple H pulled Velveteen Dream aside and say, look, man, you gotta go on the indies for a while, grind, work hard, do your thing, keep working in the ring, and build your character, and maybe in a few years we can bring you back. I'm thinking they
just completely rehab any injuries you may have.
Right.
Exactly, exactly. So
we got some more super chats, Aaron.
We do, and we have some people already going into the NoDQ review after dark. This is, I think, already our longest one ever. Life of Beto sent in a $20, I think that's pesos, says, Virtue's Sonic T is awesome. Salutes NoDQ. All right, let's get...
Hello,
let's
Darkness, my old friend. And it's got Shadow in the bottom.
True. It's a great
cool one.
All right.
I
It's
like
the best
it.
I can do. I'm in a very weird, awkward position here. Sorry.
All right. Much like on Twitter. All right, TJS with a $3 super chat says, Undisputed Era and Lucha Brothers be 24 title on main roster. What is he saying?
Oh.
there?
Maybe $3 get a grand. Thanks. Carry on.
What?
What is he saying? What did he say?
Okay, nobody knows what TJS meant by that, so we're moving on.
I know what he means by it.
Aaron just threw some shade at me about Twitter. Aaron loves the way I do.
He's pretty much just saying that they
Twitter.
pretty much be
And
jobbers
I
on the
bring
main
so much
main
attention
roster.
to him. He absolutely loves it, and he loves the show.
That's right.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay. And we did have another super chat here from Keith Johnson with $2. Says, question for Jerry. How do you feel about Hit Row He doesn't care. Jerry is at a loss for words, ladies and gentlemen.
Is he frozen?
Everybody's getting frozen at least once today.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, he's definitely frozen.
Maybe he's just thinking, guys. Let's give him a minute.
Oh, no, there he is. He's moving.
There he goes.
Jerry.
Jerry.
Still thinking.
Thinking. Oh, there
he goes.
All right, keep reading the super chats. We'll get this thing moving here. My battery's dying.
Jerry apparently has no comment about Hit Row.
Whoa, there's the comment. There it is.
We're never going to find out. We might have to bring back Jerry for next week to get his thoughts on Hit Row. You guys are not going to hear it, apparently, because the StreamYard gods have spoken, and there will be no comment on Hit Row tonight.
Yeah.
Highly unlikely in all likelihood.
I'm done. Okay. Wait a minute. SSBS Fanboy with a $2 super chat says Enzo shouldn't have been fired. Change my mind. I miss Enzo. I want him back. I want Enzo Amore back in WWE. What do you mean? What do you mean there? We will have no Enzo slander on this live stream here. Hey!
Yeah.
I do not appreciate
He got pulled in a wrestler sport for crying out loud by Seth Rollins, so
TJS sent in a $3 super chat, says Velveteen Dream's Twitter is gone. I just checked.
Oh wow.
That doesn't shock me.
Jeff, could you verify that for us?
I don't follow him, so I wouldn't know.
Not that I don't trust Velveteen Dream. Are you sure Dream did not block you, TJS? Just wondering. Geez, every time Jeff cuts in, he cuts off.
I never followed Dream in the first place.
Oh, why not?
Because I didn't care to.
So you were not into the Velveteen Dream hype then?
I was into the character when he debuted, but I didn't follow him on Twitter. I just don't follow him on Twitter.
Aaron, I have a feeling this is going to drag on for another 5 minutes. Just keep reading the super chats and then make people do their plugs. I'll be right back.
There you go.
Okay, Psycho Jet Black says your favorite WCW 2000 matches and moments. Well, Virtue left, and he's the one that's going to praise WCW 2000 like crazy. Jeff, what are your favorites?
The favorite moment was December 30th when the year was over, and we only had a few more months. My favorite match, oh, God. I mean, this is going to sound really lame, but the Sold Out 2000 main event, because we actually were going to have a credible world champion before they let him get away, and he ended up, leaving the company altogether. So, everything like the entire year was a train wreck. So it's really hard to pinpoint decent stuff. I mean, my favorite moment, honestly, looking back, was Arquette winning the championship, because it was so like, oh my God, it's sacrilege. It's like, guys, it's wrestling.
Are you just saying that because you're cool with David Arquette? He's your boy.
Yes. It's 100%.
And you're buttering up to him. Just like Rob Van Dam is the top of all your favorite matches.
That is completely a falsehood, what you just said, but okay, sure.
Are you going to threaten to quit the review now?
No, I got better things to do than quit the review. I can drop the camera anytime I want to.
First of all, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
You're good, brother. Yep.
Yeah. I'm the only one that can work Aaron Rift to where he doesn't know if I'm serious or not, and that is my God-given gift. So anyway, keep carrying on. I'm back. I
mean, when Caitlin has to bring out the whip to get everybody agreeing.
Oh, now we're bringing private chats into the.
She didn't need to do that. I was going
to milk it. Queen Caitlin.
I was going to milk it for about an hour. Aaron, are we caught up on the super chats? Or are you still reading them?
I don't think so, but I agree with Keith Johnson. Booker T versus Lance Storm on Nitro. That was my favorite match of WCW 2000.
Yes.
That would be my pick.
Was a hidden gem in that company.
Sure. Lance Storm and that period when he won all the titles, like they were onto something with him. They could have gone even further with him.
The Nitro Grill up in Vegas when he had two of them. So that was a cool moment. I got to pose with the Canadian Heavyweight Championship, and he held up the Saskatchewan Hardcore International
Invitational title.
Yes.
Now, Josh, do you have any favorite WCW 2000 moments, or was that before your time?
I've never watched. I'm 24, Aaron.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was in 6th grade when Edge won the
Baby.
2010 Royal Rumble.
Fair
Jeff
enough.
and Greg wanted to beat me when I told them how, that was when I started watching. I've never watched WCW. I don't care about WCW. Vince Russo sucks. That's it.
Well, how do you know he sucks if you haven't watched it?
Because he's a wrestling mark of today's style, and that's just what they're trained to say from like that.
Why are we lumping WCW's entire existence into Vince Russo sucks? What the hell kind of bullshit statement is that?
And Aaron, wasn't Jeff, WCW was on the decline well before 2000.
Well,
Okay.
I just want to set Virtue off a bit.
All right,
Sorry,
Virtue,
your opinion.
Virtue, what are your top WCW 2000
I
matches?
like the New Blood Rising stuff, like the rise of like seeing like Jindrak O'Hare and the Vito was on there. I love that.
Of course,
stuff.
Vito and Disco Inferno. One of your
Disco.
favorites.
I mean, those are my boys. Like
All the
I
Russo
truly,
guys.
but it's not like I'm coming out and saying David Arquette or Vince Russo winning the title. I always liked DDP the whole way through. So, it was what it was, throwing everything against the wall because they were getting crushed by Raw at that point.
You have to remember, it's hard for me to pick 2000 because Hogan was so just lambasted.
Bash at the Beach 2000, I enjoyed Russo's promo. I mean, that might have been way too much, but we know Hogan's politics. And in hindsight, that got the title on Booker T.
And
That's my favorite moment.
And to be fair, Aaron will back me on this. I was hesitant to have Russo on the show when we had him on back in 2003 because he couldn't talk about Bash at the Beach because he was so under the gag order. So it was like, why are we even bringing him on here?
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Vince was actually decent to us. He treated us with respect the entire time, and we did to him. So I had no problem with it. But you're right. The speech itself was a little bit too much. Had it gone anywhere instead of a lawsuit, I would have been more okay with it.
And you know what? Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump in 2000 was awesome. All those segments where he just, like he snapped at Mike Tenay. I remember that segment. And Steiner was a madman in 2000. He brought out the Tiger on Nitro. Like that was classic.
I say Scott Steiner, the second half of 2000 was gold. The first half, he was just a complete prick. And I didn't like that part of it.
I know you didn't like that promo where he dissed Ric Flair. You banana nose bastard.
Well, yeah, because he was freaking telling everybody the WCW sucked, and they're turning the channel to watch Austin, which was why. So it's like, dude, you're burying your own company. You're an idiot. So.
I know that was wild when he said all those things about Ric Flair. I mean, that was a great promo. I still remember it to this day.
What is so funny is everything he said about Flair was complete BS because Flair was not that guy at all. But he was right. Everybody was like, all right, I'm turning on Austin. This is bullshit. Bye. Done. He wasn't wrong.
And then he had to show up on Nitro. He had his mouth duct taped. He was censored.
That was a cool segment. That was a cool promo. I like that one.
And how many other super chats do we got here?
All right, we got a couple more. Keith Johnson sent in a $2 super chat. Says, Jerry, now that you're back, Hit Row. What is your opinion on Hit Row?
And freeze in 3, 2, 1.
I'm thinking they have all the potential in the world, especially since Ashanti Adonis is actually like getting to wrestle and show what he can do, and he's actually quite entertaining. So I think the whole aspect of Swerve just having like muscle behind him and a bunch of talent, it's got potential to go places, and I'm really intrigued to see where it goes.
All right, let's move on here. SSBS Fanboy sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, best Chris Benoit matches and moments. Him and Cena making Paul Heyman eat soup is my favorite. I do not even remember this one.
This soap right there. Soup and rice.
So anyways, Jeff, what's your legitimate answer to that?
The legitimate answer, I mean, is there any better Chris Benoit moment than WrestleMania 20 with him and Eddie in the ring holding the belts up? I don't think so. The soap thing was funny. That was on, I want to say it was the SmackDown before the draft when Heyman got drafted to Raw and then quit because he was just so like hated by his roster then. So yeah, that was funny. But moment wise, I mean, God, the fights with Sullivan at the Great American Bash in the ladies' room, that was hysterical. and very, very intense. I mean, for the time you're watching, like, damn, this is vicious, this is intense. And finding out later how much there was legitimate heat, it was interesting. But yeah, the best Chris Benoit moment by and large is him and Eddie in the middle of the garden with the belts up. No question about that.
Well, SSBS Fanboy says I can replace Jeff. Just saying,
Dude, invite him in, Aaron. Go ahead, invite him
I
in.
enjoyed the Benoit Jericho Royal Rumble ladder match.
That was good. Benoit Angle Rumble was also very good. The
yes,
match-
I was gonna say that one. That one's an all-time classic.
probably Kurt Angle's best championship defense he ever had as WWE champion.
You caught up?
For me, it was either his match with Sabu, where he actually got the Crippler moniker, and also the Fatal 4-Way. No, not Fatal 4-Way. The 4-Way TLC match with him and Jericho defending, and he pretty much got taken out early in the match, but ended up coming back and finishing it out. That was a really great match.
Were you there for that one, Aaron? I was there for that one.
Which one?
TLC 3 at Staples.
No, I was not at that one.
Really? Wow. Okay, I was. Yeah.
Well, lucky you, because I remember that being a pretty damn crazy match.
That was a crazy night because first thing we see is Vince walk out and talk about Hunter being here. We're like, oh shit, now what? So it was.
Right.
It was
Now, Josh, do you have any opinion on that, Benoit?
Benoit was before my time starting to watch. Yeah, laugh it up, Jeff. Laugh it up, buddy.
yeah,
I have not. Well, what's that, Jeff?
I am laughing it up hysterically. Go ahead.
I know I'm the baby of the group. I'm fine with that moniker.
Baby
But,
Josh.
Oh my God! Stop! No!
Jerry. No. But
No.
I've not gone back and watched many Chris Benoit matches. I don't even think I've really watched the Triple Threat from Mania 20 or the Triple Threat from Mania 2000. The only Chris Benoit matches I know for a fact I've watched are Money in the Bank, the first one, and I think one of the Elimination Chambers he was in. So those are my only Benoit matches.
All right. Well, Josh Mansfield, allow me to plug something called the WWE Network. It is available on Peacock for the low price of
I have
$5.
Peacock. I do watch it. I watch more of the documentaries than I do some of the actual matches. So I'm sorry. I know I need to go back and watch some of these past matches and stuff. I know I was watching a bunch of Shane matches for a while. But
He was a damn good horseman.
It's 9:37 Eastern.
He's just gonna say the problem with Benoit documentary is you're not gonna find him on the network. You have to go buy him on DVD.
What's next?
Yeah, next super chat. For the love of God, I'm begging you.
Aaron?
Oh, we lost Aaron again.
Oh, geez, he's frozen
His battery's dying. Whatever
Yeah.
device he's using. We've been on so long.
back there.
So here's what we're going to do while we're waiting for Aaron to come back. Let's go around and do our plugs.
There we go.
Josh, I'll start with you since you were a guest this week. Go for it.
well, thank you, Virtue. I very much appreciate being on here. So for me, you can follow me on YouTube, Joshamania, on Facebook, Joshamania as well, Twitter, Joshamania 2019. Once in a while, you can find me on NoDQ doing a couple articles, columns once in a while. Hopefully this summer I'm going to get back to that. But if you want more of me, that's where find me, Joshamania. And again, big thank you to Virtue for having me on. Thank you to the boss, Aaron, my inspiration for starting Joshamania. Jeff, always a joy being with you. And Jerry, getting to chat with you has been awesome. You guys are great. Love you.
Thanks for being on. Now I'm going to pass it over to Jerry Slaughter.
You can find me on Twitter at General_JSJ, my Facebook group Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR exclamation point. And that's pretty much it for right now. I haven't started up anything else YouTube-wise, wrestling-wise, but be on the lookout. It's going to happen relatively soon.
All right. Well,
Because I now have Peacock on my tablet.
Although I'm
so
not
able
a
to
big
watch the
proponent of
wrestling.
maybe doing 5 all the time because how long the show is, but I know we only had 3 last week, I think. So over to you now, Jeff Meacham.
JeffBeachNetwork.com will take you where you need to go. Get you on YouTube. Got a lot of stuff coming up this week. He's got the wrong graphic. What a big surprise. So I'll go ahead and throw it on. If you're watching on my channel, thank you. You actually had the right graphic up. Oh, there. No, that's not right either. I sent you a new one in the chat today, Aaron. I sent it to you twice. It's all right. No, just take it down. Just take it down. Just stop. Take it down. There you go.
Thank you, Cleveland.
Not everybody. So the main thing I want to talk about is Saturday. I'm going down to Huntington Park to meet Medusa. She's doing a meet and greet out here in at one of the local wrestling store places. So the Wrestling Guy store, actually, WrestlingGuyStore.com. You can get, if you're local, you can go see her. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. Next week, I'll be part of this group twice for the Double or Nothing predictions. And then we've got a lot of our own shows. Talk Wrestling, South by Sports Bar, Dad's of Not Wrestling. Everything's coming up. And now we're seeing Jerry while I'm talking. So that's fine. So moving right along. Carry on.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Now over to Aaron. I'm sure there's a couple more super chats.
There is, because we got to get to 2 hours, right, guys?
Yep.
Okay. Walter Cruz says, you still didn't get to the main event, guys. What's the main event? What did we miss, Virtue?
We got to the main event. It was Velveteen
The main
Dream.
event was Velveteen Dream.
Someone pointed out earlier, were we supposed to talk about fans coming back eventually?
Nope.
Someone pointed that
It was
out.
not on the list.
Okay,
They
so
don't know what the
that in
list
chat.
is. They don't know what the main event is.
I mean, if somebody wants a super chat about it, we can talk about it. But
The
Aaron, what did you
greatest
use
non-seller of all time now is John Morrison, since he came back from being eaten by zombies. Like, let's take that next night.
Actually,
Aaron, what did you use as a thumbnail?
He's still not back.
Velveteen Dream.
Oh, so you did change. It wasn't something different?
It was Kofi before.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, carry on. Anything else, or are we ready to close?
SSBS Fanboy with a $5 super chat says, opinions on Kane versus Imposter Kane. Happy belated May 19th. That match was terrible, that Kane versus Imposter Kane. But the May 19th angle was pretty entertaining, and I think it was great marketing by WWE to promote that movie, See No Evil. The movie was total crap, but the marketing, 2 thumbs up. And we're still talking about it to this day. They must have done
I was about to say,
something
that was better marketing than the Army of the Dead one that we got this past week.
I was about to say that. Yep.
Yeah, just a little bit. But by the way, somebody else said, who is your favorite ginger in wrestling? Jeff Meacham.
That was Michael Black put a super chat out for $2 for that. So, yeah.
All right.
So anyway, so to answer about the Kane thing, I remember most about that. Your dad saying May 15th on XMV for a few days prior. So
yeah, we had to piggyback off of that.
Had to. Anyway.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, thoughts on Ricochet's tweet about Io Shirai? The tweet that he deleted. Yeah, we forgot to talk about that. We'll have to go into great detail about that.
I didn't know he deleted it.
He deleted it. So, I mean, a guy who is over would not have to delete a tweet like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see me delete any tweets earlier in the day.
Right.
You never do.
Well,
Ricochet
if I have a typo, because you can't fix that on Twitter, but then I retype it.
Well,
Ricochet at this point is like one of the reasons he's so why he was actually brought into the company was A, he's egotistical, and B, he's very agile. So it's one of these situations where he's not really saying that he's better than women wrestlers or anything. He's saying he feels he's the best wrestler all around. He just worded it so weirdly that this cancel culture and everybody else just took it as wrong. So yeah, he's trying to save face. He deleted the tweet, which
let's be real. Let's not say he's the best wrestler. He might be the best gymnast.
He's not, but he thinks he is, and that's the kind of mentality that you need to have to actually be, in the WWE. You have to think you're the best, or why would you want to be there?
Ricochet's biggest problem is his lady isn't as over as Shirai was, and that's his issue.
Exactly. Like if he was more over, like Aaron said, like he probably would have gotten away with all this, but right now, no.
Okay, what now, Aaron?
Well, wait, Josh, what did you want to say?
I was gonna say, yeah, like Ricochet. I was a big Ricochet fan. They should never split him up from Aleister Black as a tag team. But going after Io Shirai like that, Ricochet is not as over as Io Shirai. Io Shirai could have been NXT Women's Champion forever, and I would have been happy.
Mhm.
That's where I stand on that, pretty much.
Well,
I think he
don't-
would have made.
we-
I
we
think
get
Ricochet
weekly-
would have been a great NXT champion.
We get weekly super chats with Ricochet's name in it. I don't remember any super chats with Io Shirai's name other than right tonight once.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only place I ever see Ricochet brought up ever every week. Is this show.
He's from a
We
couple
need to-
cities away from me, Copaduca.
Yep.
We need to make a moreover than Ricochet T-shirt, although we'd have the whole trademark issue with that. It would be a funny T-shirt, though.
Okay, Aaron.
That'd
what
be
else we got?
awesome. I'd totally buy that one.
We're not milking this for 2 hours. You got any other super chats?
Well,
Well,
apparently we missed one from Shanti earlier. I think it was a non-wrestling question. And I
Was
said,
it that $5 one I told you to read and you said wait?
Yeah. What was it?
We should have read it at the time because I don't remember.
That's why you guys got to save the non-wrestling ones for after dark, or save your off topics for the end, because I postpone them and then I forget about them. And unfortunately, Shanti has not responded. Also, TJS sent in one on Monday. Oh, he says, why did the Beatles break up and whose choice? I'm not sure what he means by that, but the Beatles broke up because they were all great minds for music and they just could not work together.
They all had different directions they wanted to go.
Bob
Bingo.
Dylan broke them up.
Well, there you go. Virtue answered that for TJS. And again, Shanti, if you're there, you got to tell us in the next 10
Yeah,
seconds.
I can't find it.
Okay,
find it.
OG Crushes sent in a $2 super chat, says copywriting is more over than Ricochet. Oh wow, somebody else is ripping into Ricochet now. All right, I think we
Ricochet is not copyrighted. We can do something with it.
That'd be a shirt. Just the whole list of items are over Ricochet.
Oh my God.
all right.
No.
Jorge sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says favorite Tupac song. If y'all have one of his, California Love is a great one. And
How do you want it? Featuring Casey and JoJo.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I think
I've
Yeah,
never
well,
seen that type of music.
I think
I've never
Tupac has
listened
a
to
song
anything.
called Changes. I think it's called
Yeah,
Changes.
changes.
Yes.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Jeff, I know
I
you're a
got-
big Tupac fan.
Yeah, nothing. I just not.
Well,
Not
you got
much.
to expand your music horizon, Jeff. There's more music
But-
out there than
But
just.
also same song with when he was in Digital Underground.
See, Jerry knows his stuff. All right. On that
Half
note,
black.
we're gonna sign this thing off. So, Virtue, go ahead and close us out here.
All right. Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. You will see me rip Aaron Rift, Mr. Tito, anybody, Josh Mansfield. I don't care. If I'm having a day and I need to vent, that's where it will be. But ultimately, come over to the NoDQ review. I'll give you more of my honest opinion. Although I am honest over there, I just enhance it by 10. But that's really all I got. So for Aaron
Wait.
Rift.
Got one more. Sorry.
Do it.
SSBS Fanboy sent in a $2 super chat. Says favorite Eminem song that's not real Slim Shady. How about Kim?
That's a good one. Stan?
The Way I Am.
Why I Am is good.
SSB fanboy assumes I care about Eminem.
Jeez, Josh.
What about Lose Yourself?
I love Lose Yourself, and I like Stan personally.
But Stan, but
Mosh,
mine,
Rap God.
this is perfect for my Twitter. The Way I Am.
Shanti put his
The Way I Am. With
The
Marilyn
Way I
Manson.
Am is fantastic.
Cleaning Out My Closet is a good one.
Shanti wrote again what his super chat was in the
Oh, okay.
chat.
Oh, we got it here. All right, we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to 2 hours. Who is your favorite multi-time champion? Virtue's like never again with 5 people, by the way.
Nope.
He says, who is your favorite multi-time champion
Oh, man.
and why the 24/7 champ R-Truth? My favorite multi-time champion has got to be maybe Hulk Hogan, because he had it a good 6 or 7 times. Wasn't 20 times, wasn't 50 times, wasn't one time. He had it multiple times, but he had memorable reigns. Each Hulk Hogan reign was memorable. The first one, beating Iron Sheik in Madison Square Garden, carrying the company for 4 years, and then beating Randy Savage for his second run, the No Holds Barred era. And then the third run, beating Sergeant Slaughter in Los Angeles. And then the fourth run, beating The Undertaker, using the urn to beat The Undertaker. And then the fifth run, beating Yokozuna at WrestleMania, taking Bret Hart's spot away from him. And then going to WCW, beating Ric Flair for his first WCW title reign. And then his second run, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, was the first NWO run in 96, beating the Giant at Hog Wild to become the champion. And then his next run, beating Lex Luger at the next Hog Wild pay-per-view. And then his run after that, I think he lost to Sting and then won it back after Spring Stampede.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, after Spring Stampede, he won it back.
From who?
He won it from Savage.
There you got it. There.
And then I think he won it from that was the Finger Poke of Doom was the next one after that. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. He lost to Goldberg,
Yes.
Finger Poke of Doom, and then he lost at I think Spring Stampede or no, Uncensored, the cage match.
No, yeah, he lost it uncensored, then he got hurt with the knee at Spring Stampede with DDP, right?
And then he beat Savage after that to win his final WCW title. And then he went back to WWE
Aaron's
and won
doing
the
this on
title
purpose.
from Triple H. And I think that was his last
You
one.
might as well go and say Flair's runs now. Just might as well. I mean,
Off the rails, this is gone.
Carlos, but not really. Jack Vino, but not really. Dusty, but not really. And then he finally lost it to Harley.
All right, Jorge sent in a $4 super chat. Says, Josh, do you like music?
Yes, I am a. So in my off-time hobbies, I am a hymn writer, and I
Miley
do Christian
Cyrus.
praise and worship, and I do Gregorian chant. So that's my music and WWE theme songs, the good ones during the Gypsy era, not the crap they have now.
This is why they don't invite me back for shows, guys, because we go over 2 hours when I'm on the show. I'm sorry, y'all.
I thought it was great.
We love you, Virtue, but we're gonna try and get this over 2 hours.
we're caught up. Right, Aaron?
We're caught up. We're ready to go. I
Follow
don't
me on
think I
Twitter.
can name any more title matches.
At
Matches.
NoDQ_Virtue. For Aaron Rift, for Jerry Slaughter, for Josh Mansfield, for Jeff Meacham. I am the Troll Slayer. I'll see you
Self-proclaimed.
next week, No DQ Galaxy. Goodbye. Good night.